Good morning, everyone. It's Friday. It's Friday the 15th of March. So good morning to you all. It's nearly the weekend. I've got a fair tomorrow, but I think I'll get readings up still in the morning. Next weekend will be different though, because next weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, I'm at a fair. So what I'll probably do next week is do a 3-day reading for you on Friday. So it'll be a more intense reading on the Friday. But this weekend should be as per normal. Okay, so what's cracking at the moment? There's great energies in the air at the moment. Things are sort of feel like they're quite lively at the moment. Some of the readings I've been doing have been very, very enlightening. Had lots of messages from people meeting their person, which is always good. Lots of movement there. So good news, I hope, this morning. I am using the Witch's Tarot. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I've been very, very busy with readings this week. Ooh. So thank you very much for ordering personal readings from me. It does get a little challenging reading around the world because I've been sort of Canada, England and the US this week. And Italy, sorry. And the one thing I want to say to you is we can work out the timing. I got up at 5 o'clock to do a reading this morning, so I can work in the timing. That's not a problem. People ask me what options there are, and to do especially readings when there's a big space of time. Some of you guys are 17 hours difference in time for me, so it'll be in my morning, you're the day before. We're all Australia's ahead, well, New Zealand's ahead, the most ahead of time. And I do read for New Zealand too. So if there's a time difference, it may take me a little while to work out how to fit that in with the time difference. We can do Skype. I can do Messenger. I've used a couple of other apps that haven't been quite so effective. WhatsApp, if you want phone, and we can do video on WhatsApp too. So when you write and you say you want a face-to-face reading, just let me know what medium you want that on and your contact details. So your WhatsApp number or your Skype name. And that will save me chasing backwards and forwards for you too. It makes that process quicker. We're still working it out, but being it's getting busier now, I've always had round about a 2-day wait on readings. Sometimes I can get them in sooner, but I am starting to move to perhaps 3-day wait now. So you may find I'm a little longer in getting back to you, but I promise I do them as soon as I can. And keep in mind that I work full-time as well, so until my business builds up, which I'm hoping it will do in the next few months, then I can start thinking about cutting back on my workload. Sorry, that's a really big blurb. I hate sitting through big blurbs, but I wanted to make sure I got that across this morning. The Lovers is here. Divinely guided relationship here. Oh, but dear, oh dear, still not letting go of stuff here. Still being overprotective of your heart here. I want to go into a lot of detail on this, but I'm not going to. If you're unsure how to do this, you can email me. I'm more than happy to do it. What I'll do is once I get to 10,000 subscribers and we start going live, we'll start talking about how to remove blocks, how to get yourself open, how to release, how not to work with the energies that stop you moving forward. That's the best way of doing that. But this is beautiful. You've got all soulmate cards here, twin flame cards. So something is definitely in the air and you're actually blocking it. You're blocking a stable new start here. You're blocking this stable new start by staying in this energy. So for some of you, this can be holding on to past, holding on to past lovers, holding on to past memories. For others of you, this is holding on to old-fashioned beliefs. You know, things need to go a certain way for them to move forward. For some unknown reason, we get stuck in this whole traditional thing. I get people saying things like, oh, you know, but she should do this and he should do that. No, 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 no. If you have that energy, you're going to stop them from coming back because you've put in expectations on it. But definitely something happening here. And I felt that this morning as soon as I started picking up the cards. Okay, so we have a Page of Swords coming out here, and the Page of Swords can talk about, it's about truth. This young person is trying to deliver a truth. So the sword, remember, is the thought or idea. Now, because he's young and he's very immature, he's really not able to wield that sword like a very experienced player. So sometimes when this person comes forward, the truth isn't always as it should be. But what I will say to you is he is ready to tell a truth. Now, the other thing too this can talk about is somebody watching you over the internet. It is the card of internet communication. It's sort of like they call the stalker card, and I hate the way stalker is used because it does have a very negative context. But sometimes we just check out other people to see where they're up to, see what they're doing. I don't know that we could call that stalker. Is it invading someone's privacy? If they don't want you to see their stuff, set it to private. Okay, I do it with my friends. My friends, I'm a stalker. And my family, I'm a stalker. Temperance coming in here. So we're talking about having a good balance, which the Four of Pentacles implies at the beginning here. This is about finding your balance here. You're still not in the right place. So it may be you checking someone else, wondering why they're not coming back, and it's because you're not in the right energy at this time. Now, I know that's hard for people to take. I've had readings where people have argued with me, and I'm like, you can't argue with the divine. These are divine messages. I'm not just making them up. So this is this is Spirit saying to you that you need to be in the right place for this to happen. Now, what that can mean sometimes, it can mean that you are using your ego over your spirituality, your head over your intuition. So when you're doing those things like it should be this way and this is the way it's meant to be and they have to do this stuff, that's what you're doing basically. So you could be very, very single and very comfortable where you are. You could have done some work on yourself. You could be now ready for something to come in, but you may not have quite let go of this energy yet. But hello. So things are starting to move here. Eight of Wands can be the arrows of love here. We do have the sun coming out here, which is absolutely beautiful. So the sun speaks of joy, happiness, everything being right. Even if it comes up in a reading that's not so positive, it always makes it less sort of intense. Queen of Cups coming out here. Now, she's the card, you could be dealing with a water sign for all the people who joke about water signs. The Queen of Cups is a person who's very comfortable with their emotion. They're intuitive. They're very comfortable with who they are. They will offer love. They're like a mother, a good mother. Not that all of us have good mothers, but they're like a good mother, or how a mother should be, loving and kind and sweet. Okay, then we have the Four of Swords coming out here. So we're talking about taking time out here to meditate, to really sit on what's been going on, to really digest what's happening. Because you have a wish coming in here. So maybe you have done the good work, maybe you're moving towards the good work, but things are about to change from this energy to the wish energy. So if you've been having sleepless nights, overthinking, I've found, like I said, and we got the Page of Pentacles, so there is an offer coming in here. With the moon changes and things happening in the planetary systems, I've found that the last week or so I've let go of a lot of stuff. It's been really easy for me, whereas before it was quite difficult. I found it very difficult to let go of things in the last couple of months, and this last probably week or two the energies have been quite different and freed me up quite a lot. So I love this growth thing. I'm all about growth. If I can't get something right, if it doesn't feel right to me, if I'm not feeling that I'm fitting in or whatever, then I take a good life review every time. I don't blame others for my energies. I do blame the moon and the planets, let's face it. Okay, so what we have here, there is some sort of relationship waiting to come forward, something with stability. You've been waiting for this for a while. And I know a lot of people are waiting and a lot of people are getting over it, but that's good because that means you'll let go of the energy then, which is what the universe wants you to do. So this is about wanting something and no longer wanting to be single. You want to create something loving here. You're waiting for someone to make an offer. You could have been keeping an eye on this person. They could have been keeping an eye on you. Not necessarily anything from the past here. This is most likely quite new for people. You're very keen anyway. You're very keen to move forward on something. You've got a wish coming true here. So maybe some of you have already touched base with your person. Some of you are about to meet someone who's going to bring in something new. Could be a water sign. And what the universe is saying here is that first off, you should never have expectations. So whether this person is new or a previous person or person you've known for a while, you can't go into a relationship and have expectations about how the relationship goes. Now, what they're saying is that doesn't mean you can't have good boundaries on what you want from the relationship. You cannot control the other person. So if you want the relationship and you're able to put good boundaries down and say, this is what, I'd like to have. I want to have, a more permanent relationship. I'd like to have something long term. And the other person says, for them it's completely different. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't make them. But what you can do is you can make sure that what you want comes through in a relationship. So why you don't have expectations on the other person, this is about you, not about them. You cannot control other people. So this here shows me that what's happening here is that you're feeling very comfortable here about moving forward with someone, attaining this beautiful level of balance, but having a greater understanding that it's about how you show up in a relationship, not how the other person shows up. But if they don't show up the way you want them to, then it's your choice on whether you proceed with this or not. If they show red flags, it's your choice whether you move forward with this or not. If they're doing the wrong thing, it's your choice on whether you continue with this or not, whether you bear with it or whatever. But you cannot make this happen if it's not supposed to happen. So the universe is saying here, you need to show up, you need to be, healthy with your boundaries, have self-respect, self-love, and be who you need to be. Love every person like it's the first time. There's a wish coming in for you here, and it's very likely here coming from an earth sign, someone with very earthly characteristics. And their offer, although they're a page, is something they really want. They really are offering you something that you want here, which will take you out of the energy of that wondering if it's ever going to happen to you, to the energy of the wish card and the sunshine card. Now, what I want to say to you, whoever this person is, they may not be great with telling you how they feel. It may come out the wrong way. It may be very clumsy because I don't think they feel comfortable in being direct. What I will say to you is that, you make sure it's what you want before you move forward. The Eight of Wands is here, which means that it usually is a fairly quick energy, and this could be happening very shortly. But you need to be sure it's what you want before you move forward. Because if this person isn't showing up the way you want them to show up, then you need to stand back and say, that's not what I want. If this person sort of wants more casual and you don't want casual, don't do casual. If you don't want it, don't do it because you think you have to. Don't do it because you think you want that person. Wait for them to show up how they're supposed to show up. Because it's much nicer to have somebody that you want rather than to be somebody that the other person wants. Nice reading. I like this reading. But there's definitely an offer coming in here. Little earth sign offer. This is going to turn out to be like this though. You just don't see it coming yet. Okay, so we have the card of the snake, which is quite interesting. So as like I always say, I actually think snakes are a good omen because I always see that they change their skin, they learn to adapt, they grow into themselves, they do everything we do spiritually. And it says your intuition and healing powers will guide you to a better path. But there is a be careful here, which is pretty much what I'm trying to say to you. I think that if you use your intuition, which is quite clearly here in the Queen of Cups, you use this balanced approach now that you've adapted and you've grown into, you should be able to see the way forward. So that means if somebody does show up with red flags, you'll be able to call them on it and say, well, you know what, this ain't for me. And, you know, if they have a good reason for why they need to say, well, consider it. But if it doesn't feel right, don't push ahead. Thanks, everyone.